Welcome to Fast Five, where our four panelists weigh in on 5 separate topics. Let's talk dairy farmers. They dumped 43 million gallons of milk this year. Number one, why do you do that? And number two, what do you think, Ron?
You know, we fought this issue. As a county, we fought it over the years of how to keep farmers, whether they were in soil bank, whether they were given so much money per head for their cattle, whether the milk was at a certain price. Milk's been pretty much fixed as a price over the years. There was a glut in the market. When you have that glut and they bring on, I think it was almost 40,000 new heads of cattle, and you get more milk. So what do you do with the milk? Milk isn't something today that there's new things done with it to cause you to want to buy it. It's not so, how many of us, I don't drink a glass of milk every day. I eat ice cream, but I don't do it every day. So it's not something that I buy often.
Colin?
Well, Ron will have to disagree with you. So the reason the number of gallons of milk were dumped last year had nothing to do with demand. It had everything to do with regional production capability and storage capability. By USDA rules, milk can only be kept on a truck for such a long period of time, right, even if it's refrigerated. You had a movement of milk processing or centers and milk processors to the west, which caused a lot of milk on the East Coast being dumped because all the producers left the East Coast. They're coming back now. The reason they're coming back is out west, they're in a major drought. Farmers out west cannot produce milk. They're actually having to sell their cattle for beef, basically, because they cannot produce the milk. And you're having a production move back to the East Coast. It was the reason we dumped so much milk was driven by market pressures to move to cheaper markets that then ended up failing because of the drought.
And I still think it's because there was too much milk on the market and they had to dump it because
milk is a popular commodity.
You know, I'm going to say, you know, I think you might both be right. You know, I really.
There's the politically correct answer.
Absolutely.
The independent answer.
Well, yeah. You know, honestly, I don't know. I mean, there is waste in any industry, whether it be the milk industry, whether it be the meat industry, whether it be the bread industry. There's always going to be waste. All right. How is this waste compared to previous years? I don't know.
Issue number two, Ken Bone, we remember him, the guy in the red sweater vest or whatever that asked the last question at the last debate, why can't we all get along? At any rate, Ken Bone landed an Uber endorsement and a T-shirt deal. Ken?
I mean,
Ken Buckler, what do you think of Ken Bone?
I can't wait to see all the internet postings. I really can't. You know, it's going to be hilarious.
Colin?
Is he kind of like Larry the Bone?
Larry the Bone, okay.
So look, it's symptomatic of the fact that we as a media consuming society are fascinated by whomever happens to get the limelight, regardless whether they actually have any sort of redeeming quality or anything to. I'm not saying he doesn't have redeeming qualities. I'm just saying that being being somebody who asks a question on a panel like a debate leading to a national endorsement is kind of a stretch for me.
Yeah, it is. Now, on the other side, because, you know, you remember Joe the plumber or whatever his name was, and they beat him up and they found all this stuff in his past. Well, Ken, I heard there was some kind of article about him being a porn addict or something like that. Did anybody else read that?
Yeah, apparently he made some comments on the website Reddit about some celebrity nudes that were leaked and how he enjoyed looking at them, and, you know, they shouldn't have been
and we wonder.
So careless.
We wonder. We've said on this panel, out of 318 million people in the United States, we get these two for candidates. There you go, because your life is destroyed.
Who did Subway get as their spokesperson years ago?
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
What happened to him?
Yeah, well, he's in prison.
Right.
Okay.
Look at Pee Wee Herman.
Well, look at the guy.
I'd rather not.
Hopefully not in a dark theater. Because you might be
and then you
surprised.
had the guy from Verizon. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
He's
all
now
right.
with Sprint.
BMW building a self-balancing motorcycle. Colin, what say you?
I think it's actually a really bad idea. Being a motorcycle rider myself, you are in a huge amount of risk So any device that limits the amount of attention you have to pay to your surroundings, which is something that if you go through any sort of motorcycle course, the one thing you're drilled into is the fact that you cannot rely upon anybody who's sitting in a 2-ton piece of metal to pay attention to you. You're responsible for your own safety. Balance goes hand in hand with riding a motorcycle, just like these stupid 3-wheel motorcycles that they're selling to, middle-aged baby boomers that want to feel cool and probably get jumped at any biker bar worth its salt. Riding a motorcycle is something that's very fun and it's very exciting and everything else, but you're putting your life in danger, and it behooves you to be 100% focused to what you're doing.
Ron?
1965, I was in a motorcycle wreck I walked away from that I should never have lived. So I understand what a Harley is all about. But when this BMW, and I looked at the BMW, to watch that piece of equipment and to watch the goggles that's used to control where you go in your looking process, and to look at the type of gear that you wear to keep you cool, to keep you warm, and I think it's something that's going to happen. I think the day will come when a piece of equipment like that is out with, Uber and Google when they come out with their car that's a taxi cab without a driver that goes around. I think it's going to happen.
Ken?
I'm like Colin. I have some severe hesitations on it. I am not sure it's a very good idea.
Okay, we're running out of time, but we got 2 more topics, so we'll run through these quickly. Houston 911 operator accused of hanging up on thousands of phone calls.
Government official is inefficient. That is shocking.
That is criminal, in my opinion.
That is unacceptable.
It is
Ron,
completely unacceptable.
Anything?
Locally, they strive to answer every call. And sometimes there's a call that's not handled properly. But just stop and think of the amount of calls, the problems that you get when you get a call, and how to deal with the screaming, with crying, etc. And you wonder, how did that many happen? 1,000. Somebody was asleep at the switch, because those calls are monitored. Now, being monitored, somebody else should take. There shouldn't be just the 911 operator. Somebody else should take the fall for something like that as well.
Good point, Ron. Last topic. Obama lifts restrictions on Cuban rum and cigars. Colin?
That would have made a difference 50 years ago. The reality is, once Cuban rum went to Puerto Rico, it's a heck of a lot better. And once Cuban cigars went to the Dominican Republic, they got a lot better. So, does it really matter? It doesn't.
Ron?
I'm glad to see a little trade happen with Cuba. I think it's something that is long overdue. I think the political process has taken so long, with Castro outliving how many presidents in the country, and who suffered besides the Cuban people to have a good rapport with our neighbors to the south.
Ken?
I think, if you ever want Cuba to embrace capitalism, you're going to have to do trade with them.
And buy their products.
And buy their products.
And I say I really don't care, because I don't drink rum, or do I smoke cigars. At any rate, that's all the time we have for Fast Five. Stay tuned, though, because we've got last call coming up next.